Welcome back to another episode of On the Break. Tonight we have Bubble Edition. I'm so rock hard right now.
Oh God,
rock hard Bubble Edition.
It's just me and you. It's one-on-one. I'm a little nervous now.
Are we on live right now, or I thought we were just talking?
No, me and you, man.
Okay,
yeah.
No, I thought this was kind of a date thing.
No, J-Max out tonight, being a responsible father or whatever. I guess that's more important than hanging out with your friends and talking sports. To each his own. But dude, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's opening night. What I'm really excited about is that we got a 5:30 and an 8 o'clock game for Central Time Zone here, which makes it a lot more digestible than having to stay up till 12:30 and watch those West Coast games.
Dude, if we could have a pandemic every year and get these West Coast games pushed back, that'd be fantastic. Who do I pay
Absolutely
to make that happen? This is all a ploy by Pfizer anyways, right? Just stay in Pfizer's back pocket. They'll create COVID every single year.
J-Max not even listening right now. He's just producing. We're just taking a hard left into pharmaceutical conspiracies now. But yeah, man, I'm excited. We already got New Orleans on here and popping. We got Lakers Clippers tonight, which I'm mostly excited about. I already got the LeBron jersey on, but mostly just excited to talk sports with you, man. It's been a month since I've been able to do a pod with you guys. I had some Charger issues, which you were making loud and clear.
Yeah, dude, we all had issues, but
I appreciate you holding me accountable.
I said this multiple times, but the reason I gave you so much shit for that was because one time I had the exact same excuse, but instead of my dog actually chewing up my charger, I left my charger at work. I was like, I'm not driving back another half an hour to go get it. So I felt dumb with you. That's why I had to give you so much junk for it.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. I figured we'd dive into a lot of things today. I mean, I think you and I, we've talked off the air a little bit about some of the things that we think are going to be important in the bubble. But what's your overall opinion before we dive into favorites and who we like and where we're at in the season and everything? What's your overall opinion of the bubble? I mean, I think they got this thing about as right as you can.
If it wasn't insanely obvious before, it is now that Adam Silver is the best commissioner in all of sports.
Agreed.
And if I didn't think this before, I think it now. He's the best commissioner of all time in any sport. To be able to pull this off, dude, he's got 329 people, young men there, and 0 of them tested positive for the coronavirus. Over a period, they've been there for 2 weeks, dude. That's insane.
True.
In a time where there was not supposed to be sports this year, he made it happen. And Justin and I on the last show said there's 0% chance this is going to happen. One person's going to bring it in. They're going to invite some chick from outside the bubble, and she's going to bring it in, being asymptomatic or something like that, right?
Dwight Howard.
You could get a delivery from Wendy's. This stuff is supposed to, originally they were saying it has a 24-hour lifespan on cardboard. I think they've walked that back. But dude, I'm almost at the point where it's they're making that. There's no way they all tested negative, but it's crazy, dude.
I was optimistic the season was going to be played, and I think that speaks volumes about how I'm in a pod of pessimists here when I'm the most optimistic person, which is pretty funny. But I do think, I don't know if he's the greatest commissioner of all time. I'd have to really think about that because there's some obviously racial integration stuff back in the day, but of recent memory, absolutely. And I mean, it's so much more look at what's going on with the NFL right now. I know I follow it a little bit more than you, but there's so much disgruntled, there's just pissed off players. There's such a disconnect between the owners and the league and the players, and they're not going to be able to do a bubble like this. Granted, the NBA has some benefits because they have ESPN and ABC is, primarily who plays their games aside from Turner, and ESPN and ABC are owned by Disney. So they're able to go to Disney World. They're able to facilitate this bubble in a really ideal place. That's going to be a lot more challenging with other sports.
Yeah. I honestly hadn't thought about that. I'm mostly just, and I haven't thought about other sports that much as far as, apart from just saying, I don't foresee it happening. The MLB has people testing positive today. They had some guys test positive today. But if you look at, so we're watching a game right now as Lonzo hits a corner 3. Actually, that's Josh Hart.
Yep.
Watching the game right now, and they've got coaches with masks on. They've got a plexiglass thing in front of the media table. They have the benches, or the bench has all the seats 6 feet apart, social distancing, and they have and all the players are out there running around. So you look at it, and people go, "What are they doing? Like, they're all out there sweating. There's no way that plexiglass isn't going to do anything. The 6 feet isn't going to do anything." And it's like they're a bunch of scared idiots. But and I've seen a lot of people actually complaining about this, but really what they're doing is they're leading by example. You have millions of people's eyes on you, and you are, even though the 6 foot apart bench doesn't make any difference, because that guy on the bench is about to get up there and sweat and rub all over the other guys right beside each other and breathe in their face. But what you're doing is you're showing people, and you have millions of eyes on you, and you're doing the right thing. Yes. And dude, every single bit of this is calculated by the NBA's press team and Silver, and it's a sad state of affairs when we have to look to sports to find out what we're supposed to do.
Correct. That's the state of this country, though, man. And I don't want to turn this into a political podcast, but that's where we're at, dude. It really is.
And I love Charles Barkley, and I am 100% on the train of racial. I think there's a lot of systemic racism. I think there's a lot of injustice that happens, and I think that obviously not everybody is racist, but Charles Barkley came out and said, it's really amazing to see these guys kneel together and come together on an issue. But if somebody is not kneeling, don't vilify them for that, because you don't know what the anthem means to them, you know? And that's fantastic. At the end of the day, we have to make sure that for all the divisiveness that is going on in this country right now, regardless of what color you are, you have to try and understand the other person.
Exactly.
You can't just go, they're not doing what I like, therefore they're evil, or they're racist, or I don't want to listen to anything. Being the victim. Yeah. You Correct. Have to try and understand people. And dude, there has been so much more inclusiveness shown by the NBA than there has been shown by the right or by the left in politics. If you want to learn how to be a better citizen, just look at the NBA. Like, which is crazy, dude.
True.
Like, I can't believe I just said that.
Right. But you're right. Like, these $1 million athletes, and specifically the leaders, the owners are much more progressive, but the leaders, Adam Silver and all the NBA execs, I really think the coaches in the NBA as well. You look at your Pops and your Steve Kerrs and guys like that. I mean, they're light years ahead of other leagues. And how is it possible that, like, those people are better role models for our children than the people that are making the decisions for the country? Because they're just so against one another.
Dude, it's insane.
It's sad, dude.
And don't hear me sitting here saying that you should look at every single player in the NBA and they've got it all together. They're all humans. But it's just I see a lot more bright spots in the NBA than I do in Washington, regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on. I personally try to separate myself from the political spectrum as much as possible. I think they're all evil as
yeah, I think that's probably a healthy thing to do right now.
But there's a lot more bright spots. Now, one thing I will say is there have been some dark spots. I don't know if you saw the Raptors put Black Lives Matter on the side of their bus.
It's on the court right now.
Yeah, and Draymond Green came out and said, "You're not from this country. You shouldn't be doing that." Like, or it doesn't matter. Like, how would you feel, dude? Like, who's on the Raptors team? Kyle Lowry? Where's he from?
Yeah. I would assume the United States.
California.
Right.
How would you feel? As a matter of fact, I think it might be Compton. Don't hold me to that. I'll look it up right fast. But how would you feel if you grew up in America as a young black man, and you grew up and felt like you were never given the same? It's from Philadelphia, excuse me. Might as well be Compton sometimes. Right. You grew up, you felt like you were never given the same opportunities. You may have made it out of a bad part of your life, and this isn't just for Lowry. This is everybody on that team. Everybody on that team is African American and is going to face the same type of racism that anybody in America would have. You finally get a stage, and you are finally fighting back against what you have perceived as systemic racism your entire life, and then somebody that's in another country from you, the country that you grew up in, says you don't have a voice because you're living in a different country right now.
That's ridiculous.
How would you feel about that, dude?
So wait, that was who said that?
Draymond Green said that.
Dre said that, man, and he's really I think, been pretty good with his activism and what he's done for the community. So that I'm really surprised to hear him say that. I'm a little disappointed in that, and that's an example of still a young guy, even though he's been in the league for a long time, making a mistake, in my opinion. But I like the league putting Black Lives Matter across the court. I do think that, unfortunately, is going to hurt Middle America ratings. But you know what? So be it. Like this sport is growing internationally. It's I don't know if it's going to take over football anytime soon, but maybe in our lifetimes. I do think it'll take over the NFL.
Yeah, I mean,
it starts
I like
with our generation.
I like basketball way better than I do football. But
yeah, it's not even close. But yeah, man, I'm really excited for what's going on with the activism. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk hoops. That's what we're here for. And we're two 30-year-old white guys talking about racial equality. But at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to unity. I think that's the message. I think both of us, even though me and you are we disagree on certain political things, but we're somewhat similar. But I think at the end of the day, it's like we both can hear the other person. Understand their side of the conversation, be able to argue the other side, even if you don't agree with it, be able to understand and argue it and articulate it and not have it make you that upset. Like, stop being a child about it. I think that's what will lead to more unity in this country.
Agreed. And we were texting the other day. I can't even remember about what, but you made a joke like, you're a 6'4" white guy. You've never seen any type of discrimination before in your life, which is so true, dude. I've never felt like anybody has looked at me and said, and not giving me all the opportunities in the world, right?
Yeah.
But
I said you're a 6'4" heterosexual white male. You're playing the US on easy mode.
Right, exactly. At the end of the day, I want everyone to have the same opportunities that somebody that looks like me has.
And we're a long way away from that, whether people want to believe it or not.
Agreed.
So let's talk hoops though, man. I think they nailed the bubble. I do think it's hilarious that these coaches, just as a sidebar, keep talking to each other with the masks on, but still doing the thing where they cover their face so you can't see their lips. It's like, bro, can't actually see it. But yeah, I mean, I think they nailed it. I'm enjoying this so much. Just watching. I mean, Utah and New Orleans isn't necessarily a headliner, and it's just been so enjoyable. New Orleans looks good. They got a lot of young legs, which I think is going to be a big deal here.
Is it weird that maybe I was kind of discounting him at first, but is it weird that Zion looks more explosive?
Dude, he lost weight, right? I mean, that's the story. I mean, I think we all saw the Bleacher Report picture where he's just diced up and there's always BS rumors out there, but I've seen the number 265 floated out there a lot. He's definitely leaner to me.
I would be shocked if he weighed as little as 265. Like, think of what LeBron looked like when he weighed 265. Zion's bigger than that. Zion's like
3 inches shorter.
2 inches. Yeah.
2.5. Yeah, he's shorter.
3'2". Yeah.
And LeBron's got longer arms and shit. Like Zion's packing that into a smaller frame for sure. But he's already caught a few nice alleys here, and the Pelicans is just a fun watch, and we're just reminded of it again.
That package that they gave up for Anthony Davis was insane, but worth it. Like, that's crazy, dude. That 2 first rounders, and then of the players, it was 4 first rounders, and it was worth getting Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I think that deal actually works out both really well for both teams. I mean, dude, Brandon Ingram's a max player. Lonzo's an Lonzo's an NBA starter. Ingram's a borderline max guy. You get Josh Hart, who's a nice role player, and you get some picks. That's fair.
I agree with your first take on Lonzo. I still really like Lonzo. I think he's a top 5 passer in the league. And Josh Hart's a nice rotation piece. Look at what Brandon Ingram's doing. Brandon Ingram's going to win the Most Improved Player award.
Absolutely.
And that pick turned into Zion.
Yep. So let's break down some odds real quick. I sent you, favorites or what the odds were to win the finals, and we'll kind of go in. This will kind of just lead us into our who we think are the favorites for each side, and also for the our dark horses as well.
Yeah.
So just looking at these odds, who do you think has just the best value straight up as far as I trust this team to actually be able to win? I'm not putting it on the Suns for plus 250,000.
Are they even in the bubble? Are they in the bubble?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they were.
They're there, bro.
How did they get there? I didn't realize that.
They took the bottom. They took 13 teams from the West and 9 from the East.
Okay.
So disrespectful.
It's still amazing to me what they're doing. So we got. I really like the Rockets at 2,000. Really like the Rockets at 2,000. And I'll tell you why a little bit later in the episode. Actually, let's start it now. Because normally, if you give me the Rockets on any other day, I'm not saying don't waste your money on that. But here's what I'm looking at with the bubble. So far in the preseason, shooters are shooting out of their mind. The first game of the preseason, Seth Curry went 8 for 8.
Yep.
In that bubble, you're sitting in a small gym that has no fans in it. There's no distractions. Players are going to shoot the lights out, dude. I expect us to have a 5 to 10% increase in overall three-point shooting. 5%. I'm not going to give you 10%. 5% increase in overall three-point shooting. And the Rockets absolutely live and die by the three. More historically, they have died by the three more so. But I like the Rockets because of that, dude. Like, how much easier is it to shoot by yourself in an empty gym than it is to shoot in front of a crowd, even a high school crowd like you and I did, dude? Like, it's night and day. These guys play in a dome that is so loud in front of millions of fans that are trying every second to distract every one of them. Like, even if you can block that out, your subconscious still picks up on it. The players that,
I mean, professionals still deal with human emotions and like human nature tendencies.
Exactly. Like the players that don't even shoot threes, NBA players shoot 70% from the 3-point line in practice.
Yeah, like, when nobody's guarding them at Lifetime, when they're working out in the offseason, you'd be really surprised of guys that, you think have broke jump shots, how good they are actually when nobody's guarding them.
Yeah, exactly. You saw that video of Mike Miller just absolutely roasting people. And it's like, sometimes we don't understand how good even the worst NBA players.
Yeah, like he gets shat on for being, kind of a goof and like a scrub and like not an athlete. That guy's still an athlete. He just looks unathletic against NBA players.
Right, exactly. And so I am very bullish. I'm buying 3-point shooting in the bubble.
So who do you think that benefits the most? Houston, Milwaukee,
the Rockets, the Bucks, and the Clippers, and the Lakers.
I'm trying to think who else.
I think that it's actually bad for the Clippers. I like the Rockets, the Bucks, and the Lakers.
Yeah. Are the Lakers a 3-point shooting team though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, let me look at stats because they built 3-point shooting team around LeBron and AD. Let me just make sure. Dude, it's been so long since I pulled up NBA.
I think they're pulling a lot of threes. I wonder how successful they are. So I'll tell you real quick. I had 3 teams written down for true value, and it's the 4th, 5th, and 9th team here. So I like Boston at plus 1,200. I think if Boston gets average center play with a healthy Kemba and those fresh legs of Tatum, Brown, Smart, and if you get something from Hayward as a 4th option, I think that's a team that could go to the finals. I think they're the only team that could really upset Milwaukee in the East, in my opinion. So they're plus 1,200. I like those odds. I like Houston at plus 2,000 for all the reasons you mentioned. And like Harden's got to get it done at some point, right? Like I put him in my top 30. I need to see something from him this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Call me crazy. I just said Boston's the only team that could beat Milwaukee. Maybe Boston beats Milwaukee. Well, I guess they're probably gonna have to play in the conference finals. I don't know how it'd play out, but I kind of like Miami at plus 4,000. I know you're gonna think I'm crazy about that, but if you watch how they in their last 2 games against Milwaukee defended Giannis with Bam and Jimmy and kind of a wall there, like Bam is one of the best matchups in the league against Giannis. There's no good matchup. Good is a strong word, but Bam's a very good matchup for or a solid matchup, and they have a lot of bodies you can throw there. My skepticism on them is, okay, if Jimmy's not getting buckets, who is consistently? But they got some good young scorers with Harrow and Nunn, and then you still got you got Dragic. Like you got some options there. I think that's a sleeper team. And Duncan Robinson off the bench. That's right.
Arguably one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, and as a rookie. Yeah, I agree. That my fear with them is too much of their scoring comes from young guys, from rookies.
Agreed. And I don't think they're super realistic, but at plus 4,000, I mean, throw $10 on it and win 400. That's not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
As a flyer.
I'm going to redact my previous statement. The Lakers apparently are not a good 3-point shooting team.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
That's crazy to me. They're number 22 in the league, despite their lineup. I guess that most of that's coming from AD getting dunks, and I guess Dwight Howard and JaVale are going to score a lot in the middle. But they're number 22. The Rockets are number 1, and the Mavericks are number 2. So I actually didn't mention the Mavericks. I like the Mavericks. I don't like them to win because Luka is so young, and they have such a young core. They're not prime yet. But I do like them to go deeper in the bubble and play better in the bubble than they would have outside the bubble.
Correct. They were struggling. With in crunch time when they're playing those elite teams, they were struggling in those moments because they'd play the Lakers and Clippers really well earlier in the games and then struggle. I think the West is too tough for them. Plus 5,000 is pretty solid value. But yeah, it's a few years away for them. That's all it is. Yeah. I will say if they were in the East, though, I think their odds would be significantly lower because I think they'd have a better chance
of getting there for sure. Their
right
problem is the bubble's not going to take away their problem, which is what I've been saying all year, and that they don't have the switchable wings, which you need in this league. And if you remember, I was talking to somebody else earlier about this today. Their superstar is arguably one of the greatest offensive players of all time already, and I think that he will be. He will be the greatest offensive player all time whenever it's said and done. But
bold statement, but it's not
he's
unrealistic.
Not a good defender. He's not even serviceable on the defensive end. And then their second best player is a great rim protector, but he's not switchable. And if you take him anywhere outside of 12 feet, it's over for him. So I just
agree.
Don't.
But they do have Dorian Finney-Smith and Tim Hardaway Jr., who I think are good second and third switch wings. But I think you need to have an elite wing in there. Like you need – maybe it's not Bradley Beal, but like a player of almost that caliber to come in as well and be the lead wing.
You do. Yeah, I agree. Beal is a great defender. He might be able to switch down to the 3. My prototype switchable player is Clay, who can guard 1 through 4. You really need somebody that can guard 1 through 4 and switch 1 through 4 to be.
I like somebody that can shoot though with Luka as well, because I mean, if you try to go like Luka's going to draw attention, you try to go 1-on-1 with him, it's going to be a problem.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I see what you're saying. If you're bringing another player, is that what you mean?
Yeah,
for sure. And 3-and-D is expensive. That's what you get paid for these days and age. So definitely, and that's what makes the Bucks and honestly the Jazz too so good, is that like you look for a player that can switch 1 through 4, and then what may arguably be even more prevalent or more needed is a big that can switch up to ones, at least in a small amount. And Gobert and Giannis and Anthony Davis are really, I'd put Bam in there, are really the only players in the league that can do that, and that's why they're all at the top of it. The Jazz can't score to save their life, but they're all the best.
They're missing Bogdanovich. That's tough for them. I wouldn't even look at their odds at all because of that.
Yeah, and also I think there's some big time trust issues on that team as well.
I mean, how could there not be? I mean, I know everybody says it's all good, but when you have tens of millions of dollars on the table, you say things to get on with things, but you may feel a different way.
For sure. At the end of the day, let me ask you this. Who would you keep? You have to make a trade. Mitchell comes to you and says, I'm not playing with that guy anymore. Who do you keep, Mitchell or Gobert?
Oh, my God, Donovan Mitchell. It's not even close. I mean.
Really?
So I know you're going to – because he has a little bit of a Westbrook syndrome more than people realize, where he's a ball stopper. He holds it a lot. He ISOs. He has a ton of usage, and he doesn't shoot great percentages. But you know what? He's averaging 22, 23 points a game as a 21, 22-year-old. Way higher upside scoring than Gobert. He's a really good – I don't want to say he's an elite or a great defender. He's a really good defender, though. I mean, he's been like top 5 in the league in steals the last couple of years. I watch him on ball. I like his defense. He can really only guard 1 and 2 because he's about 6'3". But, yeah, I mean, I think I would keep him, especially – now, if you're saying they're different contracts, if you're saying the same contract, for sure, Mitchell. But, if it's different contracts, I'd have to look at it. But I think I would max Mitchell no matter what. Yeah, I mean – because Gobert's, 28, 27, so he's a little bit older. Big man probably won't hold up as well. Is that a disagreement?
No, I just saw something that's insane, but I'll use it to make I'll use it to argue against my point. Actually, go ahead.
So no, I was just for all those reasons, I would absolutely keep Donovan Mitchell over Rudy Gobert. Not even a conversation I'd have.
For me, it's Gobert, and it's not even close. That's not a knock on Donovan Mitchell either. I've said this since the beginning. Donovan Mitchell's the closest thing that we've seen to prime D Wade.
Okay. Let me ask you this real quick before you dive into it. Does defense still win championships?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Donovan Mitchell is 6'1" though. Wade, that even 3 inches in the NBA is 4 feet anywhere else. That's a big deal. But dude, he has a 6'10" wingspan. So I might have.
That's insane.
Which is freaking insane. That might offset that for me. The 6'1" stature was an issue until I saw the 6'10" wingspan. I'm okay with the 6'1" now.
That's crazy, dude. I'm 6'1" and my wingspan's 6'2".
That's normally for the average person, your wingspan is the same size as your height.
Right.
That's insane. So that's different. My thing with Mitchell is actually I don't have anything with Mitchell. Here's my thing with Gobert. He's the second best defender in the league.
Arguably, he's an offensive liability, though. He doesn't. He can't. Okay. Let me rephrase. Donovan Mitchell can be the second best player on a championship team. Rudy Gobert can't.
What? The second best player? Yes, he can.
I think I don't even know. I think he could be the third, maybe.
He's the second most switchable player in the league. He guards 1 through 5. He guards 1s and 2s in services splits. He stays low. He's the best shot blocker in the league. He's going to win another. Well, either him or Giannis are going to win the defensive MVP.
Giannis is defensive player of the year.
Yeah, or defensive player of the year. He might win MVP too. But dude, Gobert is so unbelievably underrated because he's quiet on the offensive end. But if you want
quiet is a really friendly way to explain his offensive game.
That's fair. But if you want a team to be good on the defensive end, all you have to do is throw Gobert in there. It doesn't matter what else.
I don't disagree with that.
If you want a team to be good on the offensive end, is all you have to do throw Donovan Mitchell in there? I don't think so. It's pretty obvious. Like the Jazz aren't good on the offensive end.
That's true. I think he does ball stop and ISO a lot, but I think that's also because there are no shooting threats out there when Bogdanovich isn't out there, so there's no spacing or not as much spacing. My argument would be, I think you got to be blended in today's NBA. Like the Golden State Warriors were great offensive and great defensive teams. Yes, they were extremely unique and special with those rosters, but what I'm trying to say is if you have a strictly defensive player like Rudy Gobert, the Jazz haven't been successful in the playoffs. If you have a strictly offensive player like James Harden, they haven't been successful in the playoffs. Guys that could play both ways, like Donovan Mitchell's a better two-way player than either of those guys. And I think that's who you need to be the 1 and 2s on your team to win a championship in right now's league. His jump shooting will have to improve if he's going to be the number 1 on a team.
Yeah, those are all really good points. As you were talking about that, Gobert just sent
yeah, sorry.
Zion shot into the third row.
I was going to ignore that.
But that was a bad shot by Zion. Any big could have gotten to that. But
yeah, that's a 19-year-old hooping right there.
those were actually really good points, and I really like those points. For me, I still like Gobert. I still think that Gobert is.
Does what he did weigh into the decision?
No,
because he was definitely the asshole.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, that actually does weigh in for me, but I wasn't arguing about it right now.
I know.
And Mitchell, to me, honestly, is obviously a max player. I think he's a fantastic player, but there's more players in the league that can do what Mitchell does than there are players in the league that can do what Gobert does. And that's what it might come down to for me.
Yeah. Is Mike Conley real quick wearing – is his uniform say I am him? I'm pretty sure it does.
I don't know. I really like it. I love the – oh, dude, Joe Ingles, the back of his jersey says ally. Dude, the NBA is so freaking good. Like, give players the ability to put on the back of their jersey what they want. Yep. I don't care if you make a political statement. I don't care if you write shithead on the back of your jersey. It's your freaking jersey, bro. Just go out there and, like, everybody knows who you are. It's not like a football game where you have your helmet on.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure out the enigma of Joe Ingles and why the back of his jersey says Ally.
It's ally.
I know, I can't spell it.
Dude, honestly, I love that. That's fantastic. But
yeah, that is good. So I'm all out on Utah.
Even though
we'll agree to we'll agree to disagree on that. I don't think you're crazy for your take. I feel the way I feel. I'm all out on Utah. with Bogdanovich out. I think he's an important piece. I wasn't really in on them that much anyways. I still just, I haven't trusted Denver. I don't trust Denver right now, so I don't think I'm really in on them. I would trust Dallas to go further than Denver.
I don't like Denver because their offense is so intricate and requires so much so much movement. I don't like.
Well, they're like a great home team too, with like the altitude advantage and stuff, and like that's not like there's no home advantage here, so that's going to hurt teams like Portland and Boston and Denver and Utah.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. I'm more so concerned about they're not a good team defensively. They have the wings that can switch like crazy, but they don't have that big that can clog up the paint. They're not a great team defensively, and also their offense is so intricate. I don't think that they'll have the time to get it really on par to not lose in the first round. I think that they're going to run into that problem.
Yeah, I mean, first round of the West is going to be, I think, pretty entertaining, and I think every matchup is going to be potential upset. Even at the 1-8, if it's Portland or New Orleans rather than Memphis, they're probably not going to beat LA, but that's going to be a hell of a series.
I actually really like Portland. Like, if I'm anybody in the West, especially the 1, 2, and 3, I don't want to play Portland because they just got Nurkic back. CJ and Dame are both fully healthy. Threes are going to be absolutely wet throughout the entire playoffs. I don't want to play Portland. I don't like that they don't have a switchable wing. Obviously, I've said it for a long time, but they could beat a 1 seed.
Yeah, and I mean they have the size with Nurkic. Zach Collins is healthy, so they have the size to put bodies on AD. I don't like their matchup against LeBron a whole lot. And I don't think New Orleans would beat LA, but man, that'd be a hell of a series to watch.
I think they get swept.
Probably, but it would still be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want in that, what an experience and confidence booster, maybe not confidence booster, but an experience for Zion to go in there as a 19-year-old. Ingram's 21, 22, Lonzo's 21, and go and play LeBron in the playoffs. Because, dude, I mean, we could transition to the favorites and talk about that, but dude, LeBron looks fucking locked in with the gray beard.
Could you, dude? He looks like. Did you ever play God of War 4? He looks like freaking Kratos.
He looks like Kimbo.
He does, dude. He looks like Kimbo Slice. Could you imagine being 19 years old and running into the buzzsaw that is LeBron and Anthony Davis? That would suck, dude. That might make you want to quit the NBA.
It's only uphill from here then.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Nothing else is going to be that hard. I would love that series, especially because you get the tension as far as the guys that were on playing for LeBron the year before and now are playing against him. I think that you're going to see a lot of big time effort on the Pelican side, but I still think that would be a sweep.
Yeah, I think so too. Portland would definitely snag a couple. So looking at the 3 favorites, I mean, it's obvious. Lakers, Clippers, Bucks.
I was surprised that they had the Bucks and the Lakers at 225 and the Clippers at 300. Is that right?
Yeah, that was from what I sent you. I've seen it. My book had it a little different. It had Lakers 225, Bucks 250, Clippers 275, so a little more even. With the Lakers as a slight favorite. Take the odds out real quick. Who do you got winning the finals?
I'm staying with what I said at the beginning of the season, which was Lakers, Bucks, and the Lakers win.
Okay. I like that. And I'm going to do a little hedging here because, obviously I want the Lakers to go. So at the beginning of the year, I picked Clippers Sixers, excuse me. I think I'm going to have to come off of Clippers Sixers because the Sixers have the talent to make a run here, but I'm not overly impressed by their season, and I'm not optimistic about just that team chemistry and dynamic. And honestly, they don't want it as much as these other teams. That's the difference. Like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons don't want it as bad as LeBron and AD or Kawhi and Paul George.
Yeah, so I'm gonna amazing open court behind the back pass, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna swap my Clippers Sixers for Clippers Bucks. I like Clippers Bucks. I think Kawhi and Doc have been very, very methodical this year about showing all their cards, and I'm just going to trust them to get it done, and if they don't, I'll be happy the Lakers won. So maybe that's kind of a pussy move to hedge like that, but that's what I'm doing, guys.
Dude, that's why you never bet on your own team. You need to at least
I actually
some
always
bag
do.
if you're miserable, right?
Yeah, I've doubled up too many times in my life. This is me taking the hedge for once. But no, I picked the Clippers to win the finals at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to stick with that. Dude, I think LeBron's still probably the best player in the world, but Kawhi might be the best player in the playoffs. He was last year, and I think he probably will be again this year potentially. So,
I see what you're saying. Okay, he's so enigmatic as far as you don't hear anything from him, dude. If nothing else, this has shown me that as soon as Kawhi retires, we're never hearing from him again. It'll be like he dies, dude.
It does feel like one of those guys that's going to have like a net worth of 600, 700 million later in his life, though, because he's going to make all these business investments. But it'll be on like weird shit. It'll be on like some candy bar in Japan or something. It'll be like, what the fuck? How did Kawhi make 500 million off that? Do you want to go promote it? He'll have no social media.
Dude, I love that he is sponsored by New Balance. That's a match made in heaven right there. That's fantastic.
It is. That's well done.
Shoe is New Balance. Yeah, I still have. I don't see Paul George staying healthy. I have big concerns about that. Lou Williams is a huge question mark. He was suspended or went through protocol because
you want to talk about Lou Will?
Bro, he went to a strip club and then he came back and he's going through protocol and then he left the bubble again for personal reasons.
So he's got another. Also, yeah, he's got another quarantine coming up.
Yeah.
But he originally left the bubble for family and personal reasons, and it was spotted in a strip club in Atlanta, which, I don't know where Lou Will's, off-season homes are, but I'm assuming his family's in LA, so that's, not a great look as we talk about these guys being role models. People make mistakes as well.
Right.
But yeah,
technically that is a personal reason. Technically, he did not lie.
It is personal. Saying it's a family reason feels like a little bit of a stretch, but
maybe, yeah. I'm not going to make any more jokes.
Yeah, there you go. Be careful. Anna's just going to come up behind you with a pot and hit you in the back of the head. I'm going to have to finish this solo. But I hear you there on Paul George. What I think happens is, he plays 25 minutes a game in the first series, first two even, if they're going to play. If it just looks like it's crash course for them, the Lakers, maybe he plays 25 minutes a game or, maybe he plays 35 minutes a game but then rests, when they're up 2-0 or something like that. Yeah. I think they're going to be pretty smart with him because he does scare me a little bit. Like, it always feels like he's never going to be able to just go 100% like LeBron does or, Harden or somebody like that.
Yeah, and really, we haven't seen peak Paul George since January of not this year, but last year.
Yeah, he had a hell of a year in OKC.
Yeah, and then he hurt his shoulder, and he wasn't the same after that ever. He was in the talks for MVP last year in January.
Yeah.
And, dude, nothing comes easy in that offense, bro. He was averaging 30 points a game on ISOing against 4 people because of freaking Donovan. Yeah, I haven't liked the Clippers or I've liked the Clippers. I think they're great, but I still don't see the playing 2 people that are wings and are play the exact same way. I don't like that. Even LeBron and Wade, whenever LeBron got to Miami, that was the first thing that I said was they play the exact same. How are they going to fit together? And then they lost to Dirk, to the Fighting Dirks,
True. Would you argue Jordan and Pippen were similar?
Do what?
Would you argue Jordan and Pippen were similar players?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Because Pippen didn't care about scoring.
He still stumbled into 20 a game when they were only scoring 90 a game.
He did, but where Paul George is best is when he has the ball in his hands and he's scoring. Where Kawhi is best is when he has the ball in his hands and scoring. Where Pippen is best is when he's in the open court and he's defending the best player on the other team.
Yeah. Neither Kawhi or that is a concern. Is neither Kawhi or PG are facilitators, and Lou Will's the third scoring option for sure because he can get really hot. As good as almost anyone in the league as far as like 6-man or role player. So not having him will hurt. They don't really have a true playmaker. Obviously, SGA was involved in the trade. So that does make it a little tough. And I want to give the nod to the Lakers, but it's like with the Lakers too, it's like Avery Bradley not coming is a bigger deal probably than people want to admit, and you're gonna like I got to see what these playoff minutes look like for Kyle Kuzma, JaVale McGee, and guys like that. Like I trust AD, I trust LeBron, I trust Danny Green. Rondo's not there too. That hurts a little bit. I trust Dwight in a weird way, just like in his role, I trust him.
Dude, that guy, this is the best career revitalization. Maybe maybe Rose last year, but
what's crazy is he's revitalizing his career, and he came in the league after LeBron. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, dude. Like the way that LeBron's a once in a lifetime. That'll never happen again. But they picked up J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters to try and pick up those minutes, which is suspect at best. But we'll see. At the end of the day, J.R. Smith can turn on the green light and just light it up. Everybody thinks of him and thinks about the time that he lost that game on LeBron's 50-point triple-double, and then he dribbled out the ball because was it Clarkson that missed the free throws? Clarkson botched 2 free throws in a row.
George Hill
botched 2 free throws in a row.
I could just play that back in my head like a nightmare. I remember everything.
Yeah. So everybody thinks about.
I was listening to that on the radio. That was the most gruesome thing.
Oh, I bet.
But yeah, basically what the Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith is like the Clippers were like, hey, we got this guy that heat checks named Lou Will. Lakers said, hold my beer. I'm grabbing 2 of these guys, but one of them's crazy and one of them's overweight. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And say what you will about JR and that stupid mistake, the dude can light it up when he gets hot.
Dude, JR is one of the best 3-point shooters in the league.
What do you think he's going to do in an open gym?
Like that's what I'm saying. He is the ultimate rec ball guy. Bubble only helps his game. He's got championship experience. He has more championship experience than every single motherfucker on the Clippers except Kawhi. Like Paul George never played in a finals game. Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, none of those guys have.
All Paul George does is lose to LeBron. That's all he does, and also get hurt.
If Kawhi wins one, though, man, what does that do legacy-wise? Like, the conversation turns into, is he better than LeBron? Because he's got 3 and 3 spots now, and he's a lot younger. But obviously, if you look at, to me, longevity and statistics, that's absurd.
And if you watch him play.
Yeah, but dude, the narratives, yeah. I don't know, man. Kawhi is really good, but he doesn't make those around him that much better.
No, he doesn't. And also, prime Kawhi couldn't. Like, we're not even seeing prime LeBron. This isn't prime LeBron. This is 35-year-old LeBron with gray in his beard that we're seeing, And his game we've never seen somebody that has such a dynamic scoring game turn into such a prolific passer. And granted, he was a dynamic passer the moment that he came in the league. But the dude's leading the league in assists, having never led the league in assists before in his 35th year and averaging 28 points a game. Or 35 year old, 25 points a game.
Yep.
It's insane. He's besides maybe Bill Russell, he has the highest basketball IQ of all time. He's one of the best. He looks like magic when he's playing for the Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you there. You don't think he's MVP though, right? Like,
I still have Giannis.
You still got to give MVP to Giannis, right?
Yeah, I would vote Giannis. If I had to vote, I would vote Giannis. But I also would not say that he didn't deserve it if LeBron won it. Mostly because of MVP.
Yeah, and I mean we've talked about it. I think Go ahead.
I was going to say mostly because of MVP voter fatigue. MVP voter fatigue. We see MVP voter fatigue all the time. One guy wins it, deserves it the next year, doesn't get it. I'd be okay with LeBron winning it because of that.
Yeah, LeBron has 4. I mean, maybe that's 1 or 2 light. It's tough. The Rose one was tough, but honestly, it's got to be Giannis. I told you I thought LeBron was trending that direction, and maybe he would have won it if he played all 82 games, but that's not what happened. Giannis the MVP. I mean, 29, 13, and 6 on 31 minutes a game.
The best defensive player in the league.
Best defensive player, shooting 50-something% from the field. I mean, best team in the league. Like, I mean, that's just it's not really arguable. And I don't think LeBron gives a shit about MVPs at this point. I think LeBron cared about MVPs in Miami for sure, and maybe even right as he got back to Cleveland. I think he's at a point in his career where he's like, fuck it, I just want to win now.
Yeah, I agree.
So
also, Giannis is shooting 30% from the 3-point line this year. Did you realize that?
30?
30. Did I call that?
I think you said 35.
Did I say 35? Okay.
League average this year was 35 and a half, I think, which is pretty good. But for guys that took like X amount of shots, like 200 or something, or 100. But so you got LA and Milwaukee. Who's winning? You got Lakers winning?
Got Lakers winning. Yeah.
Did you have Lakers winning at the beginning of the year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sticking with that.
Does the Kobe thing impact it at all, or is this just based on how these guys look, what I saw from them this year, and where these rosters are at?
Dude, you know what's crazy? I almost forgot that Kobe died.
Well, I mean,
it's this year.
That is crazy, but I mean,
grind,
yeah.
Bro. Yeah.
We also have a global pandemic and no leadership.
Yeah, I feel you. It's different because it's in the bubble. I think they lose a little bit of the Kobe thing because it's in a bubble, because they're not in Staples Center and they're not seeing Bryant's jersey hung in the rafters. Dude, you can bet your ass that before Game 7 of the finals, if it's in LA, the buses are going to run out a Kobe thing to inspire those guys. Like, that's not going to happen in the bubble.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, right, that's not going to happen in the bubble, exactly. But I think it does give a certain motivational or a certain edge to LeBron.
Yeah.
Because of his relationship.
I agree. I think it's diminished, though, in the bubble, is all I was saying.
Correct. Absolutely. No doubt. And time diminishes everything, right?
Right.
Like, time does heal all, ultimately. This is a crazy thought. You mentioned the crowds and how that's going to affect the three-point shooting, which I absolutely agree with. I feel like LeBron gets shook by a away crowd sometimes. I mean, I saw it pretty visually, specifically in the 2011 series, but even more recently in some of the series against Golden State when he was in Oracle, and he looked a little shook. I mean, obviously it's LeBron; he's going to perform, but like not having 20,000 people boo you and have that pressure, and not having Steph hit a 35-footer and then that crowd going absolutely insane. That's a big deal, dude. Momentum means so much in sports at any level that I think that benefits LeBron actually a lot.
I have never picked up on that with LeBron, or at least not since 2011. But it's not one of those things where you say that and I go, yeah, no way. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. I've just never picked up on it. I'll have to watch for it, I guess, next year.
Big body language guy, and he looked uncomfortable in Oracle at certain points. But I think it's maybe more so like, I think I'm just emotionally scarred from watching Curry and Durant just kill LeBron year after year and just hit these shots and have the crowd go nuts. And it's like, oh, well, we're screwed now.
Dude,
like, that's not going to happen now. It's coming down to hoops.
I'm an OKC fan. Yeah, you think you're scarred on that. Yeah, and I think that's a big thing is that Curry and Clay, dude, if Curry and Clay were in this, they would both shoot 70% from the three-point line in the bubble, dude. Yeah. I can't imagine LeBron not going to the finals, and I just don't see the Bucks winning it. They're too young. Like, Giannis has never been there. Also, the only player in the league that can actually guard him is Anthony Davis. So I foresee that matchup being good, and I see a 6 games for the Lakers. The Bucks do shoot the fourth or make the fourth most threes in the league, which is big. Like I said 1,000 times before, 3-point is going to be shooting big. They make the fourth most, and they shoot only 13 a game, a complete two per game less than the Rockets.
They're 13th in a game, 13th in shots per game, not 13 per game. I'm sure they're shooting like 35 or something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're shooting. I got it backwards. I'm sorry. So they're making 13.7. They're shooting 38. The Rockets are making 15.4 and they're shooting 44. So yeah, dude, the Bucks are really good 3-point shooters. The
Rockets
I see that going up.
Basically shooting a 3 every minute.
Dude, they love it, and that's what they went all in on. I don't know how much we got to talk about the PJ Tucker playing center before it got cut, but
I was crushing it, but it was working.
Yeah, but I don't know what the Rockets are doing. Every year they tell D'Antoni, this is your last year, you better win a championship.
Yeah.
And they keep acting like they're going to cut ties with him. And then they let him trade away their only big so that he can run his system. I don't know what they're going to do in the offseason if they don't win. Do you keep D'Antoni or do you blow the whole thing up? You either keep D'Antoni and try to run it back or you blow up everything.
Right. I mean, I think Harden's going to be successful in anybody's system. He might not average 36 points a game.
Yeah. He gets so many shots. Like the whole system it's not even a system. It's Russ and Harden ISO. Harden gets 33% more than Russ.
Yeah, I mean, Russ is definitely going to be the X factor for that team, though. Like, if he is playing like he was playing at the end of the season or those final 2 months in February and March, they're going to be in a good spot. I will be interested to see, like, if they play the Clippers, I think they match up a little bit better because of the size factor. Like, if they play LA or the Lakers got, Dwight and AD out there, that's going to be a problem. Like, nuts are going to be in dudes' faces. Like, you're sitting at 6'5".
Yeah.
PJ Tucker just body
player on your team, or the biggest player on your team. Their point guard is bigger than the biggest player on your team. Who are you going to put on Anthony Davis, dude?
I actually think PJ Tucker could guard Anthony Davis better than anybody on that team, just because he's so strong. But if he catches it low enough, it's a problem.
That's how you have to guard him. But Anthony Davis will just shoot over him.
Yeah, if he catches it within 10 feet, it's over. Yeah, exactly. So
he was light in that preseason game against the Mavericks. He was lighting it up from the 3-point line.
Yep.
Both him and LeBron were. They look, dude. Yeah, I don't see anybody beating the Lakers.
Let me make sure I got this down so I can hold you accountable, though. So I got you Lakers over Bucks in 6.
I got them in 6. They're checking Gobert's eye for COVID right now. I don't know if you're watching this. I think
he actually has pink eye because Donovan Mitchell farted on his pillow.
Dude,
no, I got Clippers over Bucks in 7.
If I put $10 on one of these players getting pink eye in the bubble, what will you pay me if it happens? If I give you $10, what odds are you going to give me for that?
I'll give you the same odds as the Sun, plus 25,000. That's the same as the Suns.
Sign me up for $10 there.
That's 2,500. I don't know what I'm gonna do if somebody comes up with that. I'm just gonna say it's due to your favorite thing, which is pre-existing conditions.
Yeah. God dang it.
Oh man, we're about to go off the rails here. I can feel it once we start getting into COVID talk.
I feel like that's our best time.
You've been letting your opinions be heard online.
Dude, I have. I got a couple of, or I got one message today that was some lady telling me how much I suck. I was like, lady, I haven't talked to you in 12 years. I don't know. I didn't even know you existed anymore. But
safe to say she's not watching the doubleheader tonight.
She's not. I think she's
not a big NBA fan.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad we did this. Hopefully J-Mac will be able to join us next time. Obviously, he's busy being a good dad, which in all seriousness is important, even though we give him shit for not being able to talk sports for an hour. Whatever. Hopefully my Charger works all the way through the playoffs, and we'll have a pretty good run here. So, we got 8 games, right? And I think they're playing basically every other day. So we're going to be playoff mode here in about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Is it 2 weeks as playoffs?
Yeah, it's like 2.5. Like, I want to say it's the 17th or something like that.
Okay.
So we'll need to be getting on here every 4 or 5 days, getting you guys an update. We'll do another one before the playoffs start as we kind of see how it's winding down. Because remember, the 8 and the 9 seed, if they're within 4 games, they're going to play each other, and the 9 seed has to win twice. So we might have some fun there with Memphis, Portland, New Orleans, and that'll be. I really think that'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah. The Jazz are making liars out of me right now. They're shooting 25% from the 3-point line, but the Pelicans are shooting 45%. So I don't know.
No, I think that's a good theory. Don't bail on it halfway. 3/4 the way through the first game, dude.
The Jazz made me bail on my 3-point shooting theory.
Yeah, don't let. Yeah, I mean that's one of the worst offensive teams in the league. Hold strong. I think that's a good theory.
Okay, I'm feeling good with it.
All right, man. Well, guys, we appreciate y'all joining us. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, we'll have the full crew. If not, me and Josh will be able to chop it up again. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Sensibly Loud, on the break, at all the platforms. And we'll see you, in a week or so, Josh?
Yeah, man.
All right. Good to talk to you, bro.
See you later.
No. I guess Justin's
still live. Justin's gonna make us stay live. I'm just gonna pick up my webcam and just carry it around the house with me.
I'm just gonna leave studio. I'm gonna text y'all. All right, peace.
I'll catch you later.